Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. Europa League game. We just saw AEK against Ajax, 1-1. I have Ajax with me. Welcome to the show, Ajax. Good to have you. Kabir, good to have you as well. Yellen, it's been a while, but good to have you as well, of course. And thank you for being, all three of you, willing to come to the show and talk about Ajax even after that game, even after recent weeks. But we have a lot to talk about. Let's start talking about the game first. Ajax, let me go with you first. First thoughts about the game. Your first feeling after watching the game. We're just jumping, to do this podcast, of course. So what's your first impression about what you just saw?
Still undefeated. Yes. No, but in all seriousness, I saw some positives, but I saw a lot of negatives also. The positives are that we didn't lose. In the end, we grabbed the point away from home. Should have been possible to grab a lot more than only that, because I think we fumbled a pretty good chance, or at least a few chances during the game that we could have increased the margin. But we didn't, unfortunately. So in the end, it was a good thing that we didn't lose. We have to thank Gorter for that, because that save that he made in the end was magnificent, because that was like from close quarters, and he tried to chip it, or at least flick it over him, and he just made himself huge and grabbed that important save and kept us running, kept us in the game. So we have to thank Gorter for that save. But also a positive for me is that I saw a team that was willing to fight. I've touched upon this like the last 2 seasons. It all comes down to the mentality. If things aren't clicking, the least that you can expect from players is that they give their all. And I think that is an improvement compared to a few weeks ago. They fight hard. They try to press together, but in the end, you see that some players are getting fatigued, so they don't do it as a unit anymore. But when they had some fuel in the tank, they did. So that is something positive. But the negatives for me are, Juan, this central defense duo isn't it for me. It just isn't. And the amount of long balls that they played, and the amount of possessions that we lost, a loss of possession during those long balls, it's baffling. It's just baffling. Sitalo only knows how to play a side pass to Avila, or he gets pressed hard and tries to dribble and gets himself into problems. He gives bad long passes, same for Avila. This is not something that you have to have in your central defense duo at Ajax. We have to have somebody that is comfortable building up the play. And at times they were so bad at it that even Bessie, in my memory, looked like a great passer compared to them, because what they did today was horrible passing-wise. So for me, please, no more Avila and Sutalo as a central defense duo. Play Hato as a central defender for now. He at least is comfortable on the ball. He's not the most natural gifted passer, but he has his basics. He knows how to play ball, at least much better than those two. So play somebody else at the left back position. We bought a lot, so it doesn't make sense not playing at least one of them. This baffles me a lot, Juan, because the amount of long balls today, it isn't just the Ajax way. And besides that, I credited Gorter for a great save today. He kept us in the running, at the end. But he needs to learn how to catch the ball and how to claim the ball when he's being shot at, and it's savable. Not something that you can only flick it, but if it's in your reach and it is low, you can just grab it. And he tends to want to punch the ball all the time. I even saw one cross that nobody was even near him. He could just claim the ball and he punches it. Same with the shot that was low, 10, 15 minutes after that. It was a shot by the opponent, but it was low and it was just savable. He could claim the ball just in his area, low, when he made the save, but he punched it back into the 16-yard box. And luckily, the player of AEK fumbled it. He didn't make the rebound. But this is something that he needs to improve on, and especially if you want to play passing kind of style that Ajax has. You cannot rely only on long balls and have a keeper that punches everything back into the play, because this sort of stuff, gives like, how do you say that? It worries me, because you don't have like a solid foundation to build upon, and you get into situations that are for the team. So that's my sentiment.
Can I ask, just before I go to Yellen or Kabir, I'm not seeing any comments. I don't know if that's deliberate or whether it's from our side. Can you check if you can drop a comment?
I see comments. I see comments.
I don't
But
see
I just have my I just have the stream open on my mobile, so I don't see it
I
on
don't
the
see it
stream
here.
itself.
So
I
maybe
didn't even know that you could, but it says hide chat in my screen.
yeah, I have to change something here. Okay, let me figure it out. Yellen, your take. Do you agree with Ajax? You just saw the game, of course. What's your takeaway of what you just saw? Or maybe because you have been seeing Ajax for a few weeks now, maybe you have a more general view of what you're seeing about those players and also the tactics that we're implementing or trying to implement.
Yeah, the emphasis on trying. I was actually agreeing with some points, but I am in a general way shocked at what I'm seeing. And it's mostly in the defense, because the two central defenders have no clue what they are doing. Like, honestly, they are out of place. I just before we went live, I saw I think it's called a PRO, where you can see where the players are going and they can draw some lines. And Sutalo was constantly out of position. And not only that, he's on the ball, not very sure as well. But the key thing here is that he's always out of position. So I don't know if that is a lack of quality or that he just needs to adapt to the system. I don't know what that is. But it's not very reassuring if you have a back line that's operating like that. I saw some positives, mainly in the first 30 minutes, with Robbie being strong on the ball as a target man, giving the others opportunity to close in and get some opportunities in. However, overall, I'm pretty well, disappointed is not the word I'm looking for, but I'm actually shocked at what I'm seeing. And also Stijn, he brings in Akpom in the 84th minute, I believe, or in the 73rd minute.
A bit earlier, I think. Like
73rd minute, yeah. And then he has they concede the goal to draw, and then he waits 9 minutes for another substitution, which didn't make sense in my opinion, because you have a striker in the no, Van der Boma was in the 73rd minute, I believe. Not sure. Anyway, I believe that he could do more to turn the match around, and in the end, I think Ajax said that there were opportunities to get more than 1 point. I think we were very, very, very lucky that we have 1 point to take home.
In the end, definitely. But that counter with, for example, Bergwijn, Berghuis, and Brobby, that should have been a goal. And
yeah,
I
but
saw some
AEK
other
had like 15 of those.
Yeah, and I saw some other opportunities that players just went for the shot instead of having a look around who's open, you know. And just giving that extra pass can create a chance that is such a big chance that it's usually a goal. But, you know,
I think you're looking at this with a little bit of Ajax glasses, because when you look at the stats, AEK should have run away with the match.
No. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we're lucky in the end. I actually stated that. I'm saying that in the majority of the game that we were the upper team, you know, that we had the upper hand.
Are you really sure?
We had some chances to make the 2 or the 2-0. So if you do that, it's a different game. If you do not make that second goal, then you come into a situation that you have like a game like this, you know, that it's like scary until the end.
I think that we were not the upper party for the majority of the game, and the stats reflect that. I think AEK was the better team for at least 70 to 80 minutes of the match, in my opinion.
I disagree.
Yeah, a lot more chances, a lot more on the ball.
I gave him the second half, but the first half we were the better team in my opinion, for sure.
Kabir, what's your take on the match that you saw? We know your stand with our coach. It's clear.
I think that, to be honest with you, in the situation that we're in as a team and as a club, if you're able to go to Athens and get 1 point, I think objectively, if you look at it from that point of view, you'd say actually, you take it. But I think, if you look at actually the way the match developed over time, I agree with the fact that actually we probably realistically should have been 3-0 up at half time. We had the upper hand in the first half, definitely. But the age-old problem persists in terms of how clinical are we? And unfortunately, we're not. So then what happens is that you're going into the second half, and I don't know what was said in the second half, or in fact, if anything was said in the second half, because our level dipped considerably. It was probably a situation where our level dipped and theirs increased. And I have to agree with Ajax that you then get into a situation where the 1-1 falls, and then you could quite easily end up losing, when actually, if you made use of the dominance that we had in that period in the first half, then it is a completely different game. So from that perspective, I think that there were positives, because I personally didn't feel that we could go to Athens and play a team like AEK and, do well in the first half. But yeah, I mean, you come back with 1 point, and again, if you look at the type of football that we're trying to play under Stein, it is so far removed from what we as Ajax fans are used to and what we as a club stand for. It's painful watching. I mean, as mentioned in the WhatsApp group, we're going back to the Martin Jol era of long ball, only we don't have Suarez and El Amdoui up front to make the most of it. So it's very barren times now for Ajax fans and the club in general. Quite sad.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys, right? Because in the press conference and also the pre-match interviews with Stein, he said he's looking for more stability in the back line. That's one. But also he wants more, more composure from certain players. Are you guys seeing that? Looking now at the new back line that we have, I know what Ajax is going to say. He already touched upon that. But we saw it against RKC now, this back line. We saw it now. Are we seeing progress? That's my main question. Are you guys seeing progress? Is there some silver lining that you guys are seeing from, okay, there is something we can go and build on from here?
Well, maybe on the ball a little bit. At times it's still very bad, but it couldn't get any worse, basically. So it's easy to have it gotten a little bit better. But from positioning standpoint, it's still extremely awful.
And when you say on the ball we're a bit better, what do you mean exactly? Like when?
Well,
exactly? In the attacking phase, you mean?
No, in the defense phase, like in the build-up, there were still some bad passes, obviously. Also, I think it was a bad pass where the 2-1 almost was given to AEK, basically. It was Avila, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And the last match was Soutalo, but from a quantity standpoint, it's gone down a little bit, but it's still not nowhere near it's where it's supposed to be. So yeah.
Ajax, are you seeing progress?
What baffles me? Yes, I see a bit of progress. Just how the players, mentality-wise, are handling the games, but I do not see any tactical progress from the trainer. What is his hand? We only saw long balls today, and even saw people in the comment, and we didn't see the press conference afterwards, that the tactics from Stein was play long balls on Forbes and Brobby.
True.
I just do not understand. Then we cannot even blame maybe Soutalo and Avila for trying it, because they maybe do not have the quality to give those long balls. But if it was the trainer that instructed them to do it, then it's maybe harsh to blame the players for playing bad long balls. Yes, it's partly because maybe they do it in the wrong situation or try to hit the wrong target, with the pass. But if the trainer says they have to do it, they're actually carrying out orders. And it baffles me that a coach that is at Ajax is opting for that kind of style, and especially with a player like Brobby and Forbes. Brobby is a strong guy, but it isn't the target man. He's quite small for a striker. He's strong, he's buffy, but he's not that tall. So if you had a Haller, for example, I'm not saying he was the best link-up player, but he is a little bit taller and more how do you say it? Like a build that a target man has. physique,
Yeah.
you know. So and maybe Forbes, you saw it one time with a long ball that he went deep. That was a nice one, but he's usually a player
From
that you
Hato.
like play the through ball on the ground, you know, like a long through ball on the ground, not through the air. So
That pass was from Hato, by the way.
yeah, that pass was from Hato, exactly. So yeah, it seems more and more that this coach isn't the right coach for our club. And but I did see some positives the way the players were handling themselves mentality wise. But that's only maybe the only thing positive that I can think of today. Plus, I must say I'm fond of Forbes. Each game that he's playing, I see more and more the quality sufficing with this player, you know. He works hard. He has a lot of speed. He tries to play combination football. It's not only a flick on and run. It's also cut inside, trying to find the player. Also, we didn't do a game talk on RKC Waalwijk, but that first assist that he gave on Robbie in that game, that was terrific. So if I have to single out a player that I see progress in, it's Forbes. So, but it's difficult to find positives, Juan, I must say.
Kabir, I want to ask you something. Right now, I'm listening to you guys, and we knew Stein already said before the game that he would find other solutions, try to find Brobbey earlier. So loose translation, we saw it now, long balls to Brobbey, basically, more or less. Are you in the camp like of supporters or fans are saying, look, clearly those players need to find each other. We're not in that stage yet. So he has to be a little bit more pragmatic about it. And if this is going to bring us a result, and this is the best chance of bringing us a result, then so be it. Or are you crazy, man? This is Ajax. I don't care. We have to at least play and try to play the structure and the gameplay that fits Ajax. And this is not befitting of Ajax. Where do you stand?
I'm not necessarily someone. I mean, the romantic in me wants to see every team on the park, every Ajax team on the park play the Ajax way, of course. But I think that if you're looking at it from a pragmatic viewpoint, when we're in the situation we're in, I think the realistic thing to do is to try and implement a style of play that gets results. So I get that. But the point is that we haven't been getting results. And we're also playing we got a draw today and, up against AZ Alkmaar. But, if you look at it as a whole, the results have also been disappointing. So, you need to think to yourself, well, then, also the style of play that he's trying to implement, a lot of these guys haven't actually played that style of football ever, really. I mean, if you look at the Ajax guys that are the Dutch guys in the team, it's very unlikely that they would have ever played Route 1 or long ball football or, as we like to call it, inshallah tactics or whatever it might be, right? So, you need to have the personnel for it. We don't have the personnel to play the Ajax way, but we also don't have the personnel to play Route 1. So it is tough. It is tough, and I understand that Stein is putting on his pragmatic hat and saying, okay, how can I get results? But it's not working. But to answer your question, I'm not someone that says, no, we have to. If we were playing Route 1 football like how we're playing now and we're winning each game 3-0, I wouldn't be complaining. Because I'm saying we're getting the 3 points. And then you can implement the style of play maybe after the Christmas break or maybe a year later once these guys have got together. But
how are you going to implement that kind of style if you do not practice what you preach? So what if you play long ball, but you want to go towards another style of football? That isn't something that goes together, in my opinion.
We do not know what's happening on the training ground, right? So, and I'm obviously the number one critic of Murray Stein, but if I'm going to play devil's advocate, he could be trying to implement that with Maduro by his side and Bakati by his side, but it's just not working. So then when it comes to actually formulating tactics for the game, he's saying, okay, we're going to play this way. But we don't know what kind of work is being put on the training ground. So what I meant by that was that, after the Christmas break, they'll have been together for 6 months. Maybe, in the summer, they'll have been together for a year. There's more understanding. The foreigners can actually understand English. They can actually understand Dutch. They can actually, stuff like that.
Yeah, if I can touch upon something briefly, what baffles me the most is, we play our formation, but we do not play our Ajax tactics. So if you opt for these kind of tactics in the original Ajax formation, just have balls then and just play another formation and alter your style. Not opt for a 4-3-3 and then play long balls from the back, like kick and rush football. That doesn't make sense. Either switch it up, be ballsy, and just say, this is the best thing that we can do at the moment, and I play this tactics for the moment. And I know that we are Ajax and that we have played a certain style. But do not go out with the Ajax formation and it looks like you play the 4-3-3 and then play long balls only. It just doesn't make sense.
The thing is, Ajax, is that when you're at a club like Ajax, you know this, right?
Yeah.
If Maurice Stein pre-match puts out his lineup and he lines us up, 4-4-2 or whatever it might be, you can imagine the backlash that he would be getting before the match.
That's why I'm saying be ballsy, but do not do it like this, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but-
I'm for it, but it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, of course, but he would get all the critique before the match, and if the results doesn't come with it, it's like he's tying his own noose over his head, and obviously he doesn't want that. So he's like, okay, we'll put them out 4-3-3, and then and then in the game, okay, game management, it wasn't quite working out. We do long ball. That's what I think it needs.
Yeah.
Before I continue, I just want to apologize to our viewers. It seems like this stream has been put privately instead of publicly, so that's why I'm not seeing the comments in our StreamYard. But I want to ask Ajax, if that's not too much trouble, if you can pick out like the most important points. Maybe people have questions for us, and we can discuss them while we go. But take your time. I will just go to Jelen to ask him something. Jelen, so the change that we had this time compared to the RKC game, and also I believe the Marseille game, is Tahirovic replaced Vos, who got, of course. Oh no, Vos came in, of course. Yeah, he was sent off. But Tahirovic played now again as a pivot. What do you think of his performance today?
It wasn't too bad, in my opinion. He's a bit slow on the ball with his reactions, so he could do something more to speed up the play. But I do believe he has tactical knowledge to be able to succeed in that position. So I see some positives in his performance, definitely. And to touch up on the personnel we have for the way we want to play is how can it be that we bring in Van der Bomen and that he is designed for that position, like he has an Ajax background, and that he is obviously not good enough for that position. That surprises me a lot. So I was surprised to see Van der Bomen constantly benched and Tahirovic, who is not an Ajax player, be preferred over Van der Bomen. So I don't know why that is, and I agree with Kabir that we do not have the personnel to play the Ajax way. But we also had Martinez and Alvarez in the past who were horrendous the first few months and who've grown out to be good Ajax players. In no means I want to compare them at this point to those players, but we shouldn't write them off too soon is what I'm getting at.
I remember Alvarez, we were doubting him a lot, but Martinez, I wasn't doubting him.
As a six.
Yeah, as a six, but still you could see he had certain passes, he can deliver the ball, etc.
His level coming in at Ajax was better than the players we have coming in now. But what I mean is there's always going to be some growth, so we should give them some more time to adapt to the Ajax way. And we should raise some questions, and maybe that's later on in the stream about the scouting of Mislintat. Among other things, obviously he did wrong, but he was a statistics guy. But what statistics did he look at? Did he look at like a ball-winning defender or a ball-playing defender? Because those things can be totally different. So him not having discussions with Stein or with the other technical members of the staff led to purchases that might not have the Ajax DNA. They might be good defenders, but they might not be good defenders for Ajax. So I think that's where the first step went wrong, and now we're in this situation. But that's
there will always be a debate. Okay, but you already know, in your view, no matter which coach you put in front of this team, because you said this group of players, most of them at least, these are not Ajax material.
Not yet, is what I'm saying.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Yeah. Because we have a very distinct style of play, and it takes some time to get used to it. What I do doubt is that if Stein would be the coach to teach them that. That's why maybe it's a segue into the next section, but that's why I feel like Van Gaal is a good addition to the squad, because he knows the Ajax DNA and he's very pragmatic. We've seen it in the Dutch squad, so I think it's an excellent addition, but we'll touch upon that later.
Yeah, I'll definitely touch upon that later. Before I go to you, Ajax, for the comments, Kabir, I want to ask you something, right? One of the players that we haven't highlighted in recent weeks enough, we were critical of him, but it seems like he's becoming a better player. He's improving. He's working hard. He's becoming a danger for all opposition. Robbie, I don't know if you see it the same way, but are you seeing an improvement? Are you seeing him becoming a better player in recent weeks?
Well, I think that he's obviously, using his key characteristics in a better way. Obviously, he's a physically present guy, and he's obviously very good at receiving the ball with his back against the goal, holding the ball up, or maybe also, shrugging off a defender. And he always finds himself in good positions. The thing that I feel that he needs to improve on, and still I feel like he needs to improve on, is just being more clinical. It's not that he has a bad technique or anything. It's just that in that particular moment when he can score, or it's about having that calmness, and it's about having, the finesse, or the that's what it's about, right? The clinicalness. All good strikers, you don't have to be technically super gifted, but you have to be in the right place and you have to have the ability to finish it. So I just feel like he's doing 90% of the things right, but the last 10%, it's too rushed in his mind. It's too cluttered in his mind. Okay. And obviously, what makes it worse as a striker is you can have an amazing game, but if you don't score goals, ultimately, at the end of the season, they'll say, how many goals did the striker score? So it's always at the back of your mind, I need to score goals, I need to score goals, I need to score goals. So that adds to it. And if you go through a run of 3, 4, 5 games and you haven't scored, then you become even more flustered. You rush yourself even more. So yes, there are things that he's doing, and he's doing them very well. And I just feel like if he can add that to his game, the final product, then yeah, we've potentially got someone with a lot of potential in the team. But,
just like the goal he scored against RKC in the weekend.
Like the goal is, yeah, exactly. He got a very good pass, and he was, it was a slightly tightish angle, but he managed to finish it. So, but see, he'll finish that, and then there'll be now a string of 5 or 6 chances, which you think, if he's finished that, he should be finishing these, but he won't. So it's about finding that consistency. And, there are enough good coaches at Ajax that should be able to guide him through that. But ultimately, you can only react in that situation in the match, right? So it's something he needs to work on. But he's got all the ingredients. So I'm a fan of Robbie. So if you were, if your question is, do I want him in the team every time? Yeah, 100%.
No, absolutely. Okay, Ajax, go ahead. Is there anything you want
to summarize? Because there aren't like a lot of comments to single out, but the majority of the viewers are just upset with Stein, just as we are. The long balls tactics today doesn't make sense. People are baffled by it, and also there are a few viewers singling out the performances with Berghuis and Bergwijn not playing optimal. That they should bring more to the team like Ajax in the positions that they are in as a captain and as a veteran. So those things are being discussed. Nickname 123-321 pointed out that Opta Johan has a stat that was out just now. Ajax didn't win any of their last 6 matches in all competitions. 3 draws, 3 losses. That's the most within a season for the club since February 2000. So the one thing that comes to mind, though, is it like a series that is bad like that? Because I remember a series under Schreuder last season that we went 7 games without a win or something. If I'm correct. So I don't know if that status is correct or that I interpreted wrong, but this is something worth mentioning. So that's pretty bad.
Maybe it's about all competitions.
Yeah, probably because the European competition is included.
And it's a bit gnarly because obviously we probably would have won at RKC. So.
Yeah, and one thing, Juan, that I just want to reflect upon briefly is, we bought a lot of players, and I'm all for the Ajax DNA, But there's something that is being proven last weeks, also with the youth players. Vos is playing more minutes. Even Van Axel Dongen is now being preferred to come in as a substitute. And I actually think those youngsters handle themselves well. So if you see how difficult it is for new players, and especially under a coach that lacks a certain philosophy or isn't able to bring it to the players, how he wants to play, and that it translates into the pitch or onto the pitch. It's good to see that these kind of youngsters are playing quite mature and also bring something more, also a little bit of moxie, how we call it in Amsterdam. Just go for it and play with a little bit of bravura, because I'm tired of all those players just trying to do the simple things like a Sutalo, like an Avila, playing the safe passes. And it is a good thing to see that those youngsters do bring something that we aren't seeing at the moment with the current squad. So maybe this is a point, and maybe Jaidarenko would be very happy to hear this, but maybe we should just try out more youth, and just rely on them more. And I know it's the Ajax philosophy, but it also it shows like the last matches, that they are bringing something that the other players aren't.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to react to the comments that you highlighted, just two of them. Before I came to the stream, I was just curious, because you guys know I'm a host, so I'm always a bit more curious, to know things. So I was wondering, okay, so as I said, Stijn was looking for more composure from the back, etc., and he had a plan, and the plan was a bit long ball, looking for Brobbey, etc. So I'm just focusing on the defensive side of things. In recent weeks, we played a couple of teams, right? So I was just curious to see how many attempts the opposition had against us, right? So let me just tell you, and maybe it will be not in order, in chronological order, but it will be just the teams that we played. We played Twente. We conceded 24 shots. We played Marseille. We conceded 25 shots. We played Feyenoord. We conceded 14 shots. Feyenoord was nice to us. So
40 or 14?
14.
1-4.
But they
scored 4 times.
They made the most of their chances.
True. We played RKC over the weekend. That one was below 10, so that was 8 shots. And then tonight, according to the stats that I have here, maybe 1 or 2 is not, maybe it can differ, 1 or 2 shots. But what I have here is I got 24 shots. Are these
on target?
Do you also have the stats, or if those are on target?
No, just the attempts, like in general.
Okay.
No, I don't think I got a lot of on target.
Yeah, that's why. If he can shoot, and I'm also, it's just a bad stat. I'm agreeing with that totally. But if a team shots like 24 times and there are 21 not on target, like
it is a slightly skewed stat, because if someone shoots from like 40 yards and it goes
exactly.
They have 5 shots on target.
Okay.
I had more on target. Okay.
How many did Ajax have on target? Can you see that, Jelle?
7.
Exactly. So you should have won, man. No, just joking.
No, but like the thing is with shots on or off target, it's like it's a chance to a chance on a chance. Like you know what I mean? Like it's going bad in the third half on Ajax level. So if you have a team that's better or more clinical, those can be easily turn into 4 or 5 goals.
Exactly.
So that's
what
I mean.
Look at Feyenoord, the least chances, but the most goals converted against us.
So on both accounts, it doesn't say anything. The shots in total doesn't say anything about the danger, and also doesn't say anything about the lack of danger.
All right, clear.
Juan, if I may, there is a question from a viewer now, so maybe we can just squeeze it in there and then continue.
Sure. I just wanted to react on one more thing.
Okay, cool.
But go ahead, ask the question. That's fine.
Yeah, Lorsel Kont just asked at the panel, what do you guys think about Akpom getting all chances and Mika Tatse none?
Yeah, I mean...
Panel. I'm just asking the question here. So either Yelan or Kabir, take it.
You're the host. I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, look, one of the things that... we were told about Mitsukatsu is that he was very clinical in his finishing, and that he's very Luis Suarez-like, and He doesn't need very many chances. So you would have thought that certainly in the situation we're in now, that it would have been more useful to have someone like him on the pitch. But then again, like I said, we don't know what's going on. Maybe in training he doesn't show a very high level. Maybe Akpom, having played in the Championship, is more accustomed to the more physical aspect of Route 1 football. And maybe the trainer feels that he could pounce on a loose second ball or whatever it might be.
Akpom is not a striker.
Yeah, but I haven't seen enough of Mitsukatsu to make a judgment. Does that make sense? Like, what have we seen of him?
True, but even the selling team of Akpom, I forgot who it was.
Middlesbrough,
thank you. Said, did they really buy him as a striker because he can't play striker?
Yeah, but he scored like, what was it, 28, 29 goals in.
It was as a 10.
Season. Yeah.
But additionally to that, Losokon's making some good points here. He said Mikatatse is a striker, but isn't being used as one, and Akpom isn't a striker and is being used as one. So that's the weird thing with Ajax, especially like throughout the last seasons. They are jiggling around all the players, but not playing them in their preferred position. For example, look at Mohamed Kudus. How many times did we actually play him in his natural position as an attacking midfielder? Either he was a striker, then he was a right winger again in a free role, though, from the right side. So maybe as a sort of 10, But this is happening on and on and on during the last seasons, and that's baffling, to be honest.
But then it goes more deeper than the trainer just being incompetent, because anybody would think the first thing you do is play players in their right position. So there must be something happening where these guys are just not showing it on the on the training ground. Or
I'm gonna go a bit further with this, because this is the second time I've seen Stijn bring in Akpom. I think the first one was RKC, but I'm not sure what the first game was. But this is the second time I see Akpom coming in, and we're still playing long ball to him. While when we had our talk with the Middlesbrough fan, he said that you shouldn't play long ball to Akpom because that won't work. He's not that kind of player. So that makes me think, like, does Stijn even know the players that got signed? Or is he learning what type of players he has as he goes along? That makes it even worse.
He literally said, I have to watch footage of the players. He literally said that.
No, but
right in the beginning.
I understand that, but if you watch the footage, then you will see that Akpom is not somebody who receives long balls. He's not good at that. When you play with Brobbey like that, that's fine. But when you bring Akpom, you have to differentiate your style. You cannot
he said he didn't have the knowledge about the players.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it seems like Stijn now is trying to find out how the new players, what their best way of playing is, while he should have done his homework. He should have known this.
We're a month in.
Yeah, more than.
Yeah, I don't want to use the term new players anymore, because they're not new players. We've had countless matches, countless training sessions. They're not new players anymore.
Something pops up, Juan, that just pops into my mind now, where we're reforming the structure of the club again. Thank God Truus is agreeing with Louis, taking on another job, instead of playing or not playing, spending some more quality time with each other, and also fighting his health condition. Van Praag re-entering the RVC. What was this other guy's name? I forgot.
Leo van Wijk.
Yeah, Leo van Wijk. But if we're being honest, and those people are probably going to restructure the club more towards what we think Ajax should be, They are Ajax DNA kind of people. Is Stijn actually a coach that can, withstand the pressure the coming weeks and be a coach under that new structure? Is he somebody that can flourish under what is necessary to show at Ajax, and where we're going to after we hopefully survive out of this crisis? Because this is my honest opinion. I'm not seeing that he has that quality that's necessary. So you can maybe take, the earlier route and just sack him as soon as possible, so that you could do a real rebuild, then carry on and make a tough decision again, like last season at the end of the winter break, and be already, how do you say it? in Dutch we say you're not ahead of things, but it follows
Right
you.
behind.
you're
Right behind.
reactive.
And you can do the things at the right situation, at the right time, especially from the get-go with the winter break. So I'd rather see him go now and do a proper rebuild than carry on and do it later on, because it's going to happen, in my opinion.
The thing is, I agree with you to a certain extent. The only thing I would say to that is that if we want to do a rebuild, we want to do it the proper way. It has to be from from top down, and not like honestly, Alex Cruz is still not CEO. We have to wait until March. I don't expect anything changing, but we have to wait until March. Leo van Wijk and Michael van Praag are going to basically restructure the RVC, and of course maybe they will have talks within the club, and they will set new objectives maybe also that the management has to deal with. But there's so many missing pieces at the top level, and that's, I think, one of the lucky things that Stijn has right now, that the focus also, if you hear the podcast, if you hear the F side, everybody's focusing now on the RVC.
Yeah,
They're not focusing on Stijn right now, because
Wait until the end of October.
yeah, we'll see. It's possible. Look, I'm not defending Stijn. Just to be clear,
I understand what you're saying. Just the structure as it is.
the structure, because
yeah.
otherwise you're going the other way around again. You're gonna sack Stijn. Who's gonna appoint a new coach? Who's gonna be the new coach?
But let me tell you this, Juan. Van Praag and I forgot the name again, and Van Gaal. Yeah, Leo van Wijk and Van Gaal, they are in a certain position on paper that they don't have a role to carry out things other than maybe, the FSA and the restructuring of it, right? And Van Gaal is being in an advisory role, but you have Van Hals that's being in the interim position that the Cruz is going into. Do you really think that if somebody with the stature of Van Gaal and Van Praag within Ajax are coming up with an idea that has to be carried out, that Van Hals is going to reject them, that he's not going to carry it out? Because I think on paper they might not have those roles, but I think their influence will be big. So if they say something needs to happen, I'm not seeing Van Hals rejecting that, especially because he has a temporary position at the moment.
But I don't think Van Hals has that power to do that. No, because he is an interim CEO, but he doesn't have that.
So who has then?
That's the thing. Who has? So I'm not saying it cannot be carried out.
Someone has.
Probably, yeah, it can be carried out. But again, the one that's supposed to sack Stijn is already sacked. Let's be honest.
And he tried to. He tried to.
According to the reports, he did sack Stijn.
Via text. We're quitting. He said, "We're quitting. Good night."
And then he got sacked.
Yeah. Look, I just
funny.
Before I touch upon, because I want to go a little bit back, because I just wanted to refer to one of the comments that Ajax said about Berghuis and Bergwijn, especially Berghuis. I think one of the things that we saw today as well, in my opinion, is that, and you're seeing that more and more, if you play long ball, you're stretching our team. You're stretching the attack and the defense, and that midfield, they have to cover so much ground that they're dead after 70 or 80 minutes. And that's something that no player of Ajax, honestly, is going to play well in, because it's too much ground to cover.
And they're not physically oriented. So,
especially, yeah, look, if we had players like Bissouma and those kind of players, yes, we can play like that. But that's not the Ajax way. We don't have midfielders that are going to run box to box for 90 minutes.
Juan, nickname 123 321 is coming through with the stats today. We played 72 long balls today. 72.
Yeah,
let that sink in.
But that was a tactics. We shouldn't be surprised. That was a tactics.
But who here is sitting and genuinely surprised with what's gone down? I honestly think Mislintat this was one big joke for him. Firstly, hiring Stijn. You can say it's a gamble, overperformer, but there was 1% chance that this guy would have been successful at Ajax. Then he hires 12 unknown people and spends 120 million. Or by the same token, he's making money of it because of all of that.
That's hearsay. Let's just correct
supposedly.
that. We think that he's making money of it, but we do not know. Allegedly. Thank you.
One big joke for the guy. Yeah. And he had a platform like Ajax to do that.
You know what it is?
honestly-
Maybe
I honestly-
maybe Diamantenaugen was something else. You know, that he was
Exactly.
just
The
had his sights
Geld-
set on making money. You know.
Yeah,
The money
Geld out.
heist. This is a bank robbery. It's a
No, but
heist.
like we're sitting here now, seriously, bemoaning that things aren't going right with the style of play. But what was the chance of success for that to happen under Maurice Stein? Like, think about it logically. Like, anyway, that's a separate story.
And
But
with a
We don't know,
completely new
man.
squad.
We don't know. Look, we don't know even. I heard somebody said the other day that we don't know if maybe Stein was. I mean, I'm just throwing up something. I'm not sure, but maybe Stein was. Sven was told we need a Dutch manager. Who knows? We were talking about Knutsen and all these kind of players like Gallardo.
Why
and
not?
all these
Why
kind of
just not
forwards.
go for Peter Bos then?
yeah,
Yeah, but the thing with Peter Bos is that Van der Sar was
Van der Sar
blocking it
didn't
for a long
want to.
time.
No,
But
but
wasn't that in the media a while back that he like
allowed it exactly.
I would-
That was too late. That was too late.
And
That's
they
too
said
late.
that
but it was-
Mislintat didn't
Stein
want
wasn't
Bos. He
appointed.
rejected Bos.
No, but it was already at the final stages of negotiation. So
Yeah.
Sven is not going to stop the negotiation at the end with Stein to appoint Bos because finally Van der Sar changed his mind.
I don't think it was in that stadium, right? It was
Yeah,
earlier.
That's what I read. That's what,
What I
read
think-
from- yeah.
What I think is Mislintat wanted to have a manager he appointed and was his choice and not someone that was already on the radar of Ajax.
I agree with that because I feel like
Look-
if it had worked out, look at me, look what I've done, look who I've
Look at all the other decisions he made. He didn't confer with the rest of the technical staff. It was all his doing. He was like a one-man show. So he seemed very egotistical about his job.
Yeah, but this is also to blame Ajax, you know, and the ones that hired him, because I saw something in the media that Stuttgart warned us about his holistic way of working, you know,
Yes,
and,
did
and
Arsenal.
wanting to do everything his way or the highway. So we can now be complaining, and not we in particular, but as Ajax as a club, that he is doing wrong things, and maybe he did. We do not know still, but they hired him and they got the feedback from the club that he works this way, and they decided to just ignore it and just
But he
hire
had
him
some
anyway.
awesome smoke and mirrors in the beginning
Yeah.
because he was a team player and he was everybody in the club was important, and so none of that was actually in his way.
Also, I think that there was an element that he didn't account for. Is he thought to himself, and I think that looking back at it now, he goes, if I hire someone like Maurice Stein from literally a nobody to give him the biggest job of his career, the biggest opportunity of his career, there is no way that someone like this will get in my way. Because, if he's hired a big name, a big reputation, he knows that from day one, this guy would come into Mislintat's office and be like, what the hell are you doing? But he's like, if I give this guy his chance, he'll let me do my thing. I'll get these players. Hopefully he can make the best of it. But it didn't work out that way because Stein said it in the press conference and called him out. And from that press conference onwards, that's if you notice everything started going south.
Yeah. But
So I think there was an element of that.
which self-respecting coach says, I want this and this and this player, and your technical director says no, and you say, okay,
Well,
give me yours then.
To answer your question, Maurice Stein.
well,
So give me yours then, I'll make it work. Oh,
but
surprise,
that's
it
the
doesn't
thing, right?
work.
Like, tomorrow if you get the job of your dreams at a place you never thought you would, and then you've got a boss that's like bossing you around, you might be like, okay, cool, because I'm still in this job and it's amazing and I would never have got it. Something like that.
Nah, man, you have a certain personality. At least I think that's the way I work. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but you have certain like standards. And even if you're at a dream job, some certain things you just won't accept. It's just how it is.
Which he didn't because he called him out. Yeah.
I think we saw
Too late.
I think we saw the two extremes. We saw that version that we just discussed this summer, and we saw the other version with Schroeder last summer with his agent. He basically got all the players, and there was no control, nothing. So we've been through 2 summers seeing complete opposite things happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Both were terrible. Like the one constant was that it messed up the club.
although I have to say, guys, but we will see in the coming weeks. There are players that got signed, which I really believe that are okay players. Even though you can argue, can they play the Ajax style? Yes or no? It's very
Forbes wasn't missing that.
It's very hard to know. We will never know with Stijn, to be honest. I don't think Stijn is going to divert his style going forward.
Look, I refuse to believe that Sutalo is a bad player. I refuse to believe it because you don't play for the Croatian national team, who are a gun team. You don't play for them if you're a bad player. I'm sorry. And
okay, you refuse to believe, but what is your opinion up until now, Kabir? Just state what you're seeing. What are you seeing?
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. He hasn't been playing well since joining us. That's one thing. But I don't think he's a bad player. So somewhere along the line, something's going wrong. And that is about maybe the style of play or the coach not being able to tell him what to do, how to do properly. Or maybe it's the first time.
Your coach.
Yeah, or maybe.
I heard Stijn saying before the game as well. They were touching about Sutalo, and then he said, "Yeah, we told Sutalo, keep it simple, keep it basic, just give the ball to somebody else." Basically, I'm translating it, but that's basically what he told Sutalo to do, to keep it simple, so he grows in confidence.
I even tweeted about it. I'm just scared every time Sutalo gets the ball, man. And it looks like, the way I interpret it, it looks like this guy has so many things going on in his head. He looks afraid all the time that it just goes wrong. It's crowded there. He can just not play natural football because maybe too much instructions. I don't know. And also scared to do something wrong. No confidence at all.
Lack of confidence. You got to remember, he was signed as the signing.
Yeah,
the leader. Target.
Yeah, making him the captain in the first game, man.
So he's a human being, right? There's going to be so much pressure on him. And then on top of that, he's joined an Ajax, which is the worst Ajax in how many years? So the pressure on a person and he can't speak the language. And he can't even speak English, apparently. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna finish now this conversation that we had about the game. I want to move. Actually, you already touched upon it, but I just want your opinion quickly, so it becomes a little bit clear also to our viewers. My question is about Van Gaal, right? The appointment. It was officially announced, external advisor. Do you guys think he can have a major influence having that role, or is it more a symbolic role in your view, a symbol to bring some kind of calmness in the club? I see Ajax already saying no. Go ahead.
Man, let me tell you something about Louis van Gaal, and he's one of my heroes. Louis van Gaal doesn't take a backseat. He doesn't take a backseat. He just has a certain personality, and he wants to implement what he thinks is right. So yes, maybe in this part, maybe on paper, because of the situation with his health, and maybe also the situation with Truchino, saying it's only advisory, it's only bits and pieces. But I think he will do more than you think he will, and will be more demanding, or not demanding, more of a force within Ajax to make a transition that's necessary than we think. Because something that Louis van Gaal doesn't do is work from the background. He takes the spotlight.
Okay, he will be on the bench by December.
I would love that.
Make that a quote. Make that a quote.
I'm not even kidding. Because sorry.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask. Are we talking? Just to be clear, are we talking about he's not going to take a backseat because his role, if you look at it, should be much more on the maybe helping on the organizational structure? But you guys are saying no. He will have much more impact on the technical matters as well.
He should.
He should.
I see an advocaat van Bronckhorst role with him. I hope, at least.
But but that's not possible because look, his health doesn't. His health doesn't allow him to be that much involved in terms of time. And also, he's living
at least for like a period of time to get things running.
Maybe he should take Truus on a holiday to Holland. Just for a few months.
I mean, he has done it with the Dutch team. He has the Dutch team for like 2-3 weeks and then goes back to Portugal. And then he has another stint of like 2-3 weeks. Maybe that's kind of thing is possible.
Okay.
Man, nothing will stop this guy. When we qualified for the European the World Cup, the guy was literally in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He was in the hospital. He went to the match and went back to the hospital.
Yeah. He was literally celebrating on the wheelchair in the Kuip when Bergwijn scored that goal.
Yeah.
But I agree with Ajax, and I also really want what Yelan is saying. So I agree that Louis van Gaal, even though it's an advisory position, there is nothing about him that's just advisory. He's going to go fully in, and he's going to make it known what he wants to do and what he feels is the right thing. And in every WhatsApp group I'm in, I was just hoping and praying. I was like, get rid of Stein, get Louis van Gaal in front of this group, because if there's one man who can sort this SHIT out, it is Louis van Gaal.
Okay,
Quote that.
quote that.
Snippet it, and put it
Without the
We will.
SHIT.
Yeah, we will. Ajax, any additional comments you want to add to the discussion?
Let me check, man.
Okay. All right. So final things we want to talk about. We have another important game in the weekend against AZ. We weren't very enthusiastic about today. We're happy we didn't lose, so that's good. 1-1. Do you guys expect any other tactics than what we have been seeing? Like, going to be the same against AZ in your opinion? And should we play the same players, or would you do things differently? Jellen, let me go with you first.
I was just checking the score. I believe it's 0-0 at AZ at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
So the thing is, they also play today, so they have the same international schedule, which might be beneficial actually for Ajax, because they will both be tired and maybe have some rotational players in. But to answer your question, no, I don't believe we will see any other tactics, and I believe it's a very, very difficult match for us.
Yeah.
So, but AZ is also not in the best of form, so.
Not
See
in the
last
best form. Okay.
Yeah, because they would.
they bottled the 3-0 or was it 2-0?
No, it was 3. They were 3-0 up at halftime.
3-0 and they lost 4-3. Was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And apart from they lost to which game did they lose again? In the league?
Didn't they
Twente.
lose to RKC, or did RKC beat? I think they lost to RKC, no? Or no, that was Twente, maybe.
Let me check.
Yeah, that was Twente.
So-
They lost one game in the league, but don't you think, other than that, they've been pretty constant compared to us?
Well, more, yeah, but that's not a hard feat.
Yeah, dude. If you want my honest opinion right now, do I have any hope that we will get a good result against AZ? Nothing. I genuinely, I think that they're going to beat us. And
we're playing at home. You never know.
Yeah, but that previously that would matter, and I'd be like, well, with this Ajax, with the current where we're in right now, I genuinely do not think that we will get a result against AZ Alkmaar.
Do you think the fans in the stadium will accept the long ball strategy like we played today, if it doesn't work out?
No, of course not. I mean, absolutely. I mean, if we're playing long ball, like I said, and we're winning 3-0 at halftime, of course, no one cares. But if we're going to be playing frustrating long ball and we're 1-0 down, or it's 0-0 after 70 minutes, of course, the whole stadium's. That's when the Ajax fans don't work in your favor, because it's going to turn into a whistle.
But look at what we tried against Feyenoord. It was an abysmal first half, but we tried to play. What do you call it? Route 1 football, at least like the tiki-taka style or the short passes, and we got demolished. So there is no other option from now until Sunday to do something different.
At least in October with the schedules and the matches that we have, you're saying we're not gonna against those teams. We're not gonna play different. It's gonna be the same.
No. But Juan, how do you think realistically what can change between now and the weekend?
Especially having
being on the
feeling.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna play differently, but we might have be on the good side of the score once, and that might trigger something for the team. That's what I'm hoping. Look, I have no how do you call it? I have no hope that things are going to get better under Stein, to be honest. I'm not allowed to say that. I should remain positive as a fan. But I've seen enough to know that in terms of playing style, and honestly, I'm not even that disappointed about Stein. I'm even more disappointed with Maduro, the guy that always was on ESPN, and he was looked upon, and everybody, like the whole football world, was talking about him being the next, I don't know who's a very good Dutch
genius.
The next Van Gaal, let's say the next Van Gaal, and he was very good. He knows exactly how to play and these kind of things. He's doing his coaching license, and we got him from Almere City, and everybody was like, okay, Maduro and Stan, that's going to be a good match. That's going to be good. And even Stijn, again, you go back to all those interviews when he got hired, and he said, they asked him, what's your strength? What's your best that you can bring to Ajax? And Stijn said, I can connect people. I can bring people together. That's what he said. I'm not joking.
Is he a former employee of Nokia or what?
Bro,
I have the quality to get the most out of people around me. That's what he said. I'm translating it from Dutch, guys. That's exactly what he said. So I was
I
like,
think that should be a life coach.
huh?
He should be like a psychiatrist or a life coach. If that's what his primary thing is to make
No, man.
people
He cannot figure out things on his own at all, man. Let alone
Bro,
advise other people.
I'll tell you one thing. When he was questioned by Schreuder in that NOS interview, and all Joop Schreuder asked him, what are the agreements, afspraken? What are the agreements that you have with the players?
Yeah.
The guy went so defensive because I genuinely think that if he told the whole world what they were, people would laugh him out the room. I don't think there are anything that's worthy of Ajax or Ajax tactics-wise about it, because I just think that it's not his fault. He's just not capable. He's not good enough.
Okay.
He's not tactically strong enough.
Want to go to some comments, Juan?
Go ahead, Ajax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nickname 123 coming through again.
Is he the only one in the stream?
Yeah, no. But
Like it,
he gives some nice information, especially because we are not able to see the interviews afterwards, so giving us some great updates.
Yeah.
Stijn is slightly positive, says we didn't give away too many chances due to bad positioning, adds that the defensive duo did well, just not good on the ball, and wants less risk in passing from the back.
Oh my!
Bro, he doesn't want us to pass from the back.
How do you do less? Yeah. How do you minimize the risk of passing from the back if it's a long ball to Brobbey either way? No, explain that to me. Anyone in the comment that has a bit more knowledge about football tactics and stuff, please comment and let Ajax know.
What's the saying in Dutch? You can't tie a rope to it. Like you can't,
Yeah, exactly. Anything else?
Steve says, I want to touch upon that. Louis van Gaal rubs me the wrong way. He was against Cruyff from the start. I've heard this sentiment many more times, also on Twitter. I saw it a few times. And although I understand the sentiment in the position that we are in, I think you should see it separately. Yes, he was against Cruyff opposing him, back then with the Flueo Revolution. I don't know. Flannel Revolution, something like that. But
rebuild.
At this point, in time, we need Ajax-minded people. And also Van Gaal, although he opposed Cruyff, is an Ajax legend. He knows his thing. He has, a lot of experience. And I think he can bring some good things to the club. Same as Van Praag now doing his role with other guy. I don't know whose pizza's arriving, but I think we should just be grateful and thankful that there are some, legends available still to help us out now. And
100%.
I agree. The only thing I would say, and I'm not trying to be negative, guys. I really am not. But we're getting Van Praag and Leo van Wijk, both 76 years.
There's still pizza, guys. Still pizza. Whose doorbell is that?
Guys, whoever ordered pizza, go get it. That's fine. People will.
No, I haven't. It's just a doorbell.
Oh, that's the doorbell.
You ordered your shawarma, bro. Come.
It's packaged, but I can't stand up. So.
Oh, you can stand. You can if you want. You can get it. It's fine.
Just put out your camera, man.
Yeah, man. People will be okay with it. No, what I wanted to say, guys, is look. I'm happy that Van Praag wants to come in. Leo van Wijk wants to come in. I'm happy that Van Gaal wants to be an external advisor. Of course, I'm happy with that.
It's the vitamins, bro. Gotta stay healthy.
Of course, they've been with Ajax before, and also they've guided Ajax. They know how it works, etc., etc. But we're talking about people that are like in their 70s, And I'm not being discriminating on age. That's not what I meant. But I'm worried about the succession and how Ajax is going to be healthy for the coming years. And that's my problem. Because that's the problem since Overmars left. And we're still struggling with that. How is it going to be when they're not there anymore? Who's going to take over? Is it going to be Alex Cruz? are we going to depend all on Cruz to fix everything within the Ajax organization for us?
But same with Cruyff back then, you know, and I'm not saying it will go the same way with Van Gaal because maybe he has different thoughts, you know, but it established something for a long time. So hopefully they are able to structure our club in the higher level on a certain way that we will, you know, have fruits. You can have fruits from that in the 5-10 years to come, and maybe more than that, because the way the club is run now, we can say Stijn out, but even if we get another coach in with the situation that we are having within our club, with not a stability up in the higher ranks, you will still have a problem also with a new coach. You can have a more experienced coach that maybe can shelter the team a little bit from that and still do his thing, but you do not have an optimal work situation. So hopefully they can create that for the coming years.
I understand. There is an immediate response that we need right now, immediate urgency, and that I understand that they come in, and that I believe. The problem I have is that how is it going to be on the long run? Because I read the Telegraaf article. They were coming up with some names: Ten Kate, Bergkamp, Blind, Danny Blind. These are old. With all due respect, these are old
club legends.
Club legends, yes.
Except for Ten Kate, he is a coach.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what their function is. It's like we're looking at the older generation. Where is the new generation? We're letting people like Bogarde leave, Reiziger leave. We have Seedorf and Nigel de Jong at the Dutch National Association, KNVB, working there as technical director and board member, etc. Where is the philosophy of Ajax to bring in those younger people? I'm just throwing names. I don't know if they're qualified or not, but we should look into that. We should look.
Sneijder refused. There's a reason he's not coming.
Who's he? Who's
Sneijder?
Yeah, but in all honesty, Juan, I think it's a little bit not towards you in particular short-sighted to have those people in at the moment already. Because I will explain why. I think there was something. I forgot his name. The other guy that was working alongside Van der Sar, what's his name? That didn't want to be the director himself. I forgot.
Menno Gele.
Yeah, Menno Gele. I believe there's something built up within the club now that they are internships for former players, right? That they are being, you know, they have a certain period to be ready to have a role in the future. And I do not think that we should give a Sneijder or maybe a Seedorf that has a little bit more experience, and a Nigel de Jong, in all fairness, he's doing well at the KNVB, but what is his, you know, background the last years? What did he do? So I think they should be included in the club, but they should be ready for the years to come, that they can work alongside maybe the older generation, not the oldest one, but also the club legends, and then be ready the years after. Same as a youth academy, but also with personnel, with all legends. Be sure to structure it right now, then you can be successful with them for decades to come. That's how I see it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I threw those names because those are the names that popped up in my head. But the whole morale of the story is that, okay, fine, we're going to fix things now, but I want things fixed for the coming years.
I agree. Now. But that is what Gele was introducing, right?
But the route that Heitinga took was the equivalent of how it should be.
Yeah.
And then you kick him out, which for whatever reason, and then you go a totally different direction.
Exactly. And look, Heitinga was not ready, probably.
Of course. But then you could have a Van Gaal in next and as an advisor to Heitinga for in some way or some shape or form or whatever.
For example. Anyways, Ajax, I just want to give you the final words, basically, to say what you expect from the AZ game. Are you positive about that? And if you have any last comments that you want to throw at us, that's fine as well.
Yeah, I'm not positive at all at the moment. I'm still remaining more calm because it's too early in the season. We already at so many points behind that I'm really already accepting a bit of a gap year. I'm not saying that we won't recover a bit from that, but we are already 15 points behind or something behind PSV, a lot at least. So I'm hoping that there will be some progress during the coming months, but trying to remain calm. but I hope to see some positives also in the structure that is being built, and that we can work towards something. Because if it goes like this for the coming weeks, we will be in the mud, and there's no, salvaging anything this season. I need to see some things improving, that I can, see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Because the way it goes right now, it is just a shit show. And we should start improving, and hard decisions should be made. If Stijn keeps continuing like this, put somebody else in front of the group, but also make the tough decisions in the other ranks of the company. Because there should be a structure behind, the first team, with people helping out the team and carrying out their roles and do a good job. And we can be certain of one thing: when Overmars left, when Ten Hag left, it all tumbled down. It started with Overmars back then, and it has been a shit show for 2 years right now. We've been critical of Van der Sar. We've been critical about almost anybody that were, a part of our club. But there should be some logical decisions from now on out, because you cannot expect another outcome if you keep going like this. It will be the same next year.
All right. I think that's it. I just want to apologize one more time to our viewers for not having it public this time. But we will be back on the AZ game, having the game talk again, guys. And despite having not the best game today, we still played 1-1. I understood as well that Marseille was leading 2-0, but they ended 2-2 as well. So that was a draw as well. So everything to play for still in this group, magically. Still everything to play for in the group.
So AEK with the last left then, right?
Yeah, I think AEK top of the group.
Yeah, top of the group.
They beat Brighton in their own stadium 2-3, and we drew the first game. So
true. Still everything to play for in this group.
4-2-2-1.
Sorry?
4-2-2-1. AEK 4, Brighton and Ajax 2, and then Marseille.
No. Marseille and Ajax 2. Brighton 1.
Sorry, Brighton 1. Sorry.
Yeah. Correct. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, everyone, and we'll be seeing each other soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye.